So as I mentioned earlier, I want to cover just briefly about how to set up your real estate correctly, right, to maximize your cash flow. Thinking of it this way, what are your life aspirations, right? And acquiring the assets that are really going to help you get there. It might be real estate assets and it may be businesses, right? And structuring those such that they can help you achieve whatever your financial requirements are. But understanding the financial requirements are a must too. So doing some budgeting and doing some homework is going to be key, right? And then looking at your entrepreneurial mantra. What is your risk? Are you risk averse? Are you a risk taker? That's going to also help you determine which products you get into, which products you get out of, maybe what businesses you try, right? All of these different things are going to help you maximize your cash flow, right? And putting that all together, it's going to be important that you don't try to achieve everything as an individual. Today, everything is done with teams. Those people who are very successful set all of this up as a team, right? I mean, you can, but you're going to be working for your assets as opposed to your assets working for you, right? So I want to talk a little bit about how to do this so you're not spending so much time building and managing the wealth, but letting the wealth come and help you get the lifestyle you want to achieve. And I talk to a lot of people when we go out to a lot of these events, and they're tired, you know? They're tired and they can't take their vacations and they can't take their breaks, right? But if we take a step back, right, and we set things up a little differently, we can enjoy the fruits of our labor and our time, right? And let those assets work for us. And that's what I'm trying to really structure. And I'm going to get into this a little bit more in the next few slides. So when you look at it, you really want to put it together such that there's an operational model and an organizational model. The organization is the people, right? Who are you going to work with? Who are you going to surround yourself to make sure you're making the right decisions around taxes, around laws, around HR, right? Around what do you do with that asset, right? And then the operational model is the people, the processes, and the systems to make it all come together. And putting all those things together, well, that's going to help you get a portfolio that's truly optimized, that can perform, and that keeps you from running around taking care of every single little thing, right? So let's talk about how we break that down. As I mentioned, success is really multidimensional. As you set this up and you set up your life aspiration, do keep in mind a living will and trust is very important in putting all of your assets in there. Increasing cash flow, again, it's not about just making the money, it's about keeping it, right? Keeping it not only for yourself and your family, but for the generations to come. So your will and your trust is kind of have like an iron wall. All your assets are behind that iron wall. Again, litigation, mitigation will be on your side, right? So that's a key point I want to be sure to take away. The real estate, holding the real estate that you have, hopefully you currently all have your real estate under an LLC. The title is under the name of your LLC. The cash and the checks and all of that income you receive is in the name of the LLC, as is your bank account, right? So that gives you a curtain, right? But it's not your iron wall. They can still penetrate through LLCs. So you still want to have your LLCs held within your trust. And so again, you're protecting those assets. And I'm not a trust estate attorney. I do recommend you talk to one, but I do want to just cover these points at a high level, right? If you have businesses, right, you want to be sure that those are structured under the right entity. There's the S Corps and the C Corps, right? So there's different pros and cons to both, right? You want to be sure that that income is flowing in and out of that business held within the living will trust for your estate. And then accounting, tax planning, and structuring all of that to maximize your write-offs is key, right? We were talking about that a minute ago. I have a great guy, by the way, if anybody needs a great guy. Although I don't want to get him too busy. I know tax time is present, so that's very top of mind. All of these things are very top of mind, right, as you start going through your books. Setting yourself up for success, how you structure your books is very important. As Robert Kiyosaki would say, begin with the end in mind, right? The end in mind is to maximize what you're going to keep at the end of the day. That's how you structure your books is very important, right? If you can maximize what you get from your assets as an expense, as a reimbursement for your everyday lives, that's going to be substantial. That's going to be money in your pocket. If you're taking it as, say, a draw income or other things, that could be a more taxable item, right? So again, it's about structuring things to keep the income. So make sure you have the right accountant on your team. Compliance with tax laws, with labor laws, very key, right? And all of that is going to come back to you to build your personal wealth, your personal success. I don't want to spend a great deal of time on that, but I did want to point that out. For those of you who may or may not have that structured, you may want to give that some consideration. Any questions? That component? No.
So, how that's called the C corp, or just a regular LLC?
Well, I find that again, and I'm not an attorney, but I find that the LLCs are very beneficial for holding your real estate assets, and that the corporations, be it an S corp or C corp, are great for the businesses, right? And the businesses tend to run, could be running assets that are held within the LLC, right? You know, one of the things that one of my lessons learned is C corps, of course, there's double taxation. And then as far as the S corps go, you can structure things differently. So it's just the right entity for the right business. And I know we all have a lot of different things going on in our portfolio. So just being cognizant of the best structure for you is really important. So I wanted to give you